Have you ever wondered what makes an all-powerful god swallow his own wife? This is not a common question, but in the world of Greek mythology, it is the starting point for one of the most fascinating stories about power, prophecies, and the complex relationships between gods. Zeus, fearing the prophecy that his own son would dethrone him, made a radical decision to swallow Metis, his first wife, who was known for her wisdom and ability to transform. This act, however, was not the end of the story, but the beginning of a myth that would reveal the birth of one of the most powerful goddesses on Olympus. Athena, daughter of Zeus and Metis, was not born like the other gods. She emerged from Zeus' head, fully formed and armed, ready for battle. This unusual birth symbolizes the fusion of divine strength and wisdom, characteristics that made Athena not only a goddess of war, but also the patron of strategic intelligence and justice. From the beginning, Athena showed a unique combination of compassion and severity, balancing her responsibilities as a warrior and defender of just rights, both on Olympus and among mortals. Athena's birth also marked the beginning of her complex relationship with other gods, especially Poseidon. The rivalry between the two is best known for the dispute over who would name the city of Athens. While Poseidon offered a spring of salt water, Athena, with her cunning, gifted the city with an olive tree, which brought prosperity and lasting peace. This dispute was not just a battle of gifts, but a clear demonstration of how Athena's intelligence and strategic thinking often overcame the brute force and power of other gods. In addition to her strategic intelligence, Athena was known for her interactions with heroes and mortals, often serving as a guide and mentor. She helped great heroes such as Odysseus, offering them advice that combined wisdom with war tactics, showing that true strength came from the mind as well as the body. Athena was also revered for her ability to maintain order and justice, being a goddess that mortals could turn to in times of need, always ready to intervene in a just and decisive manner. Zeus, known for his cunning and fear of losing power, was always on the lookout for prophecies that could threaten his sovereignty on Olympus. When he learned that Metis, his first wife and goddess of wisdom, was destined to give birth to a powerful daughter and then a son who would dethrone him, he didn't hesitate to take drastic measures. Metis was known for her ability to transform herself into anything, but even this didn't save her from the cruel fate set for her by Zeus. In an act of desperation and self-preservation, he swallowed her, believing that this would control the future of his bloodline. However, this act, instead of ending the prophecy, only reconfigured it in a way that Zeus could not have foreseen. What Zeus didn't know was that by consuming Metis, he was also absorbing her wisdom and power, a detail that would seal the birth of Athena in a unique way. Metis continued to exist within Zeus, and it was there, in the god's womb, that she began to shape her daughter's destiny. Athena was not conceived like the other gods, but forged in the core of Zeus' mind, which gave the goddess a special place among the Olympians. Her arrival in the world was marked by an unbearable pain in Zeus' head, which culminated in her violent and spectacular birth when she emerged from his forehead, fully armed, ready for battle. This event not only fulfilled the prophecy in part, but also highlighted Athena as a unique deity with a direct and unbreakable connection to her father. From the moment she was born, Athena was different from the other children of Zeus, not just because she appeared in such an unusual way, but because of her personality and abilities. She was the embodiment of wisdom, justice, and strategy, attributes that made her one of the most respected and feared figures in the Greek pantheon. Athena's relationship with Zeus was complex, marked by both affection and reverence. She was his most trusted advisor, to whom he turned in times of great need. However, Athena also inherited from Metis the ability to think independently and strategically, which made her a goddess who acted on principles, even if it meant defying her own father. Metis' influence on Athena was not only limited to wisdom and strategy. The goddess also inherited from her mother a sense of justice and an inclination to protect mortals who showed valor and courage. Athena, unlike other gods, was known for her close relationship with heroes, helping them on their journeys with advice and gifts that often made the difference between life and death. However, her justice could also be harsh, as seen in the case of Medusa, where the severity of her actions reflected a less benevolent side of her personality. This duality of Athena, as a goddess who could be both a protector and a ruthless force, made her a fascinating and complex figure on Olympus, always ready to deal with the consequences of the choices she made, reflecting the eternal struggle between power and wisdom. The story of Athena's birth is not only a fantastic account of Greek mythology, but also a profound reflection of the symbolism that permeates this culture. Athena emerged from the head of Zeus in an act that blended both creative power and supreme wisdom. Appearing fully formed and already equipped with armor, she represented not only intelligence, but also readiness for action, combining two attributes that the ancient Greeks considered essential for any leader or warrior. This unusual birth underlines the idea that Athena didn't need to go through the stages of growth or apprenticeship. She already possessed the necessary knowledge and strength from the moment she came into the world. What's more, the fact that Athena was born from Zeus' head, rather than by the traditional method, is loaded with meaning. The head, in mythology and in various cultures, is often seen as the center of thought, reason, and wisdom. So Athena was not just an ordinary daughter. She was a direct projection of Zeus' divine mind, which made her exceptionally powerful and intelligent. This birth can also be seen as a way for Zeus to ensure that his daughter inherited her power innately, without the need for intermediaries, which set her apart from other gods who had to prove their worth or conquer their abilities. Athena's birth also has implications for how she was viewed and revered in Greek society. While other gods were worshipped for their exploits or their specific domains, Athena was revered for her wisdom and her direct connection to Zeus, the most powerful god. This placed her in a unique position among the Olympian gods. She was not only a goddess of war, but a divine strategist, an unbeatable advisor whose intelligence guided both mortals and the gods themselves in their battles and decisions. Her presence in stories of war and peace was a constant reminder that true strength came not just from raw power, but from a sharp mind. Interestingly, Athena was never represented as a goddess who sought conflict for its own sake. Her armed and battle-ready birth symbolizes, above all, defense and protection, not aggression. This characteristic made her seen as a protector of the city, of justice and of the laws, attributes that manifested themselves in the way she conducted her actions and influenced the heroes with whom she interacted. Her extraordinary birth, therefore, not only established her place in the pantheon of Greek gods, but also shaped her as a central figure in the Greek understanding of how wisdom and war should be balanced, always in favor of order and the common good. The rivalry between Athena and Poseidon is one of the most emblematic moments in Greek mythology, revealing much about the goddess' character and cunning. When the two gods decided to compete for control of a city that would later be called Athens, the dispute was not only about power, but also about influence and prestige. Poseidon, known for his brute strength and control over the seas, brought forth a fountain of salt water by slamming his trident against the earth. Although it was an impressive display of power, the salt water was unfit for consumption, and the inhabitants of the city quickly realized its limitation. Athena, on the other hand, approached the competition with the same wisdom and strategy that had defined it throughout the ages. She gifted the city with an olive tree, a tree that not only provided food in the form of olives, but also oil, wood, and shade. This gift symbolized peace and prosperity, values that Athena wanted to see flourish in the city. The choice of the olive tree was not random. It represented a commitment to sustainable development and a prosperous life for the citizens. Athena's gift was seen as a deeply thoughtful and practical gesture, demonstrating that she understood the real needs of the people who would inhabit that land. This competition was not just a battle of gifts, but also a demonstration of values. While Poseidon symbolized the strength and relentless power of the sea, Athena represented the wisdom, peace, and prosperity that could be achieved through intelligence and foresight. Athena's victory in this dispute marked a turning point, not only for the city, but also in the way it would be remembered and revered. The city of Athens became a center of culture, philosophy, and power, reflecting the very attributes of the goddess. Moreover, the people's choice in favor of Athena was not just a matter of preference for her gift, but also an alliance with the principles she defended. The decision to name the city in her honor was a recognition of the lasting impact that wisdom and prudence can have over brute force. By winning this dispute, Athena not only secured her place as the protector of the city, but also solidified her position as one of the most important and venerated deities in ancient Greece. The relationship between Athena and Medusa is one of the most intriguing and complex chapters in Greek mythology, reflecting the moral ambiguity of the Olympian gods. Medusa, once a devoted and beautiful priestess of Athena, had her fate tragically altered after being raped by Poseidon inside the goddess temple. The temple, considered a sacred space, was desecrated, and instead of Athena's wrath turning against Poseidon, the aggressor, it turned against Medusa, the victim. This raises questions about divine justice, or the lack of it, and how the actions of the gods did not always follow the moral standards one might expect. Medusa's transformation into a gorgon, with snakes in place of hair and a gaze capable of petrifying anyone, can be seen as a form of cruel punishment, but also as a way for Athena to reaffirm her power and authority. Medusa was transformed into a symbol of terror, but also a figure of fearsome power. This duality of being both victim and tormentor makes Medusa one of the most tragic characters in Greek mythology, while Athena appears as a goddess who, in her wisdom and strategy, does not hesitate to sacrifice a servant in order to maintain her image and the sanctity of her temple. Another interesting aspect of this myth is how it has been reinterpreted over the centuries. The figure of Medusa, who was initially a terrifying monster, has gradually been reframed as a symbol of female resistance. In some modern interpretations, Athena's curse is seen as a form of empowerment, giving Medusa a means of defense against any further aggression. This rereading reflects a more contemporary view of events, where the figure of Medusa becomes an icon of survival in a world dominated by gods and powerful men, and Athena, a goddess with powers beyond mortal comprehension, is seen as a complex entity whose actions are not easily classified as good or bad. The myth of Medusa also explores the idea that mortals are often pawns in divine disputes. Poseidon, by attacking Medusa in Athena's temple, was challenging the goddess on her own territory, which suggests that the punishment imposed on Medusa could also be a message to the other gods. No one disrespects Athena without suffering the consequences. However, it is Medusa, the mortal, who bears the brunt of this divine rivalry, showing how the gods play with human lives to assert their superiority and resolve their personal issues. Medusa's story, from Athena's point of view, is not just a tale of punishment, but an example of the price mortals pay for being caught up in the immortals' plots. Even after being transformed into a gorgon, Medusa maintained a subtle but significant link with Athena. Despite the curse imposed on her, the former priestess of Athena did not completely abandon her roots. It is said that she continued to look after one of the goddess temples, a task that may have been motivated by a deep sense of devotion or a desperate attempt to find redemption. This aspect of her story is often overshadowed by the tragedy that followed, but it is a reminder of how complex and nuanced the relationships between gods and mortals were. When Perseus was sent on his mission to behead Medusa, he knew that the Gorgon's gaze could petrify him instantly. It was then that Athena, with her innate wisdom, intervened to ensure the success of the mission. She provided Perseus with a mirror-polished shield, allowing him to approach Medusa without looking directly at her. This ingenious and calculated tactic is a clear example of the strategic mind of Athena, who always preferred to win using intelligence rather than brute force. After Medusa's death, her head was given to Athena as a macabre trophy, but the goddess didn't treat it as a simple object. Instead, Athena incorporated the Gorgon's head into her shield, the Aegis, transforming it into a powerful weapon. Athena's shield, now adorned with Medusa's head, became a symbol of terror and protection, reflecting the duality of the goddess herself. By using Medusa's head in this way, Athena not only kept the Gorgon's destructive power under her control, but also perpetuated the memory of the creature that had once been her servant. Athena's act can be seen as a form of symbolic appropriation of Medusa's power. The image of the Gorgon, which once represented curse and despair, was recontextualized by Athena to serve her own purposes. This transformation of a symbol of fear into an emblem of power is emblematic of Athena's dominion over the chaotic and dangerous forces of the ancient world. Thus, Medusa's head on her shield represented not only Perseus' victory, but also Athena's absolute control over the fate of the mortals and monsters that crossed her path. Athena's relationship with Hephaestus is one of the least talked about but equally fascinating stories in Greek mythology. Hephaestus, the god of fire and metallurgy, was known for his ability to forge weapons and armor unmatched by the gods of Olympus. One day, overcome by desire, he tried to force himself on Athena, but the goddess, true to her chaste and impenetrable nature, managed to dodge him. The result of this attempt was the birth of Erichthonius, who appeared in an unusual way and was raised by Athena as her protege. This myth highlights the pragmatic side of Athena, who, even in the face of such a delicate incident, managed to turn a problematic situation into something productive. Athena not only raised Erichthonius, but also helped him ascend to the throne of Athens, promoting the development of the city. It is said that Erichthonius was the one who introduced the use of chariots in Greece, a feat that was undoubtedly influenced by Athena's strategic guidance. The goddess saw in Erichthonius the potential to transform Athens into a center of power and wisdom, reflecting the very essence of her values. Erichthonius' tutelage also gives us a glimpse of the way Athena valued progress, innovation, and applied wisdom, characteristics that shaped Athens' identity as one of the most important cities in the ancient world. Another intriguing aspect of Athena is her involvement in trials and disputes between the gods and mortals. In one of the most famous cases, Athena acted as judge in the dispute between Orestes and the Furies, avenging gods who wanted to punish the young man for killing his own mother. Athena, with her characteristic impartiality, decided to acquit Orestes, arguing that a son's right to avenge his father's death was superior to the crime of murder, as long as the intention was pure. This trial was fundamental to the development of the idea of justice in the Greek world, showing how Athena used her wisdom to mediate conflicts and establish order, even in morally complex issues. In addition, Athena was known for her strong association with the arts and civilization. She was the patron saint of weavers and sculptors, always encouraging the pursuit of excellence in human activities. Her most notable contribution in this regard was the invention of the loom, a tool that revolutionized the textile industry in ancient Greece. Athena also inspired the construction of countless works of art and architecture, including the famous Parthenon, a temple dedicated to her on the Acropolis of Athens. These achievements not only symbolize Athena's practical wisdom, but also her lasting influence on Greek culture, where the goddess was revered as the embodiment of reason, skill, and the balance between strength and intelligence. When we delve into the stories of Athena, we realize that her wisdom was both a blessing and a curse. As the goddess of wisdom and strategic warfare, she was always at the center of the most critical decisions, both on Olympus and in the world of mortals. However, what these myths show us is that wisdom, when combined with absolute power, can become a dangerous weapon. Athena, despite her wisdom, was not without flaws, and her choices often reflected the complexities and contradictions inherent in divine power. The duality of Athena's power is evident in how she dealt with her enemies and allies. Although she was a protector of cities and a guide to heroes, as in the story of Odysseus on his journey home, Athena was also capable of extreme severity, as seen in the myth of Arachne. Arachne, a talented weaver, dared to challenge Athena in a weaving competition. When Arachne won with a work that exposed the faults of the gods, Athena, in an act of revenge, turned her into a spider. This episode begs the question: how far did Athena's wisdom guide her, and where did her intolerance begin? In addition, Athena was often involved in the most significant disputes on Olympus, balancing her wisdom with an unwavering loyalty to Zeus. Her participation in the Trojan War is a case in point. Although she supported the Greeks, Athena also played a crucial role in inciting the war by influencing Paris to choose Aphrodite as the most beautiful of the goddesses, which led to Helen's abduction. Here we see that, even with all her wisdom, Athena was not immune to power games and divine rivalries, contributing to one of the most epic conflicts in Greek mythology. Ultimately, Athena's legacy is a testament to how wisdom and power can be tools of creation and destruction. Her influence shaped civilizations and inspired heroes, but also left a trail of harsh decisions and unforeseen consequences. The lesson the myths of Athena leave us with is that wisdom, when not tempered with compassion and empathy, can easily become an instrument of domination. The question that arises then is to what extent true wisdom lies in the ability to decide what is just and right, and not just in the power to carry out those decisions.